want to show you today is how you can also take a single crust pie and how to roll it and crimp your edges for a pie dough, for like a pumpkin pie. So if you want to take it. So take your cold dough, and again, lightly flour the area, lightly flour top of your pie, and then again using a dowel or a rolling pin. And when you roll, remember, you're always rolling from your center out, your center up, and giving it a spin. So you're always going out to all of your corners, doing it lightly and gently, especially as it's colder. It will tend to warm up. So go ahead and give it a flip and continue. And if it starts to crack like this, when it gets a little bit bigger, we'll be able to pinch it together. What's nice is when you do have a really nice flaky pie dough, it's going to be great when it comes to baking. It might be a little bit more temperamental when it comes to rolling it out. But remember, it's all going to get covered up by the filling anyways. So no one's going to see what the bottom of your pie looks like. They're only going to see what your front edge is and what it tastes like. You should see your nice little marbling going on. Again, remember to spin it. As long as it's moving, it's not stuck to the edges. If it is, just be careful, give it a flip. Again, I'm trying not to add any more flour that's necessary. And we want a nice, thin pie dough. So I'm going to start to check it here in just a second. And what we're looking for, if we take our pie pan, is that it is just about an inch or about 2 fingers all the way around of a little extra dough. Now if I have more, I'm going to show you how we can fix, like if we're a little short. Remember, we have those scraps even from the leftover first piece of arugula or first pie dough. I can always go in there, add a little pie dough, make it fit. Or again, maybe I just wasn't perfectly in half on them. A little bit more over here. I'm going to take some of this other dough, patch it in. And again, if you did just that pie dough, you'd have more than enough because we divided it in half to do your full pie dough. Okay, so I'm going to make sure it doesn't stick. What I'm going to do is when you need to move it, you kind of start to lift it very gently, roll it over the rolling pin, and just make sure it gently moves. Get a dish towel here. I want to start to move some of this flour out of my way so I can put my pie pan. I'm just going to roll, kind of lift, and then roll it back into the pie pan. Okay, don't worry about, piece fell off, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, get rid of some of this excess flour to the trash can. Okay, so when you lift your crust, okay, you want to get it into the pan. You want to make sure it's tucked in the corners and not any air right around that bottom. So you kind of want to lift and push that dough into the bottom of that pan. Okay, make sure it's down into those edges very tight and that you have a little bit of dough. Push it against the edge. Okay, a little bit of dough hanging over. Now again, I'm a little short here. I'm going to just use this. I'm going to push it in. All right, so the dough that's hanging over, you want it to hang over about a little bit of an inch. Okay, and we can always add more. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lift the dough and you're going to tuck it underneath so you get this really nice little rolled edge. And you want to be able to see that little edge on the pie pan. Okay, so go around, lift, and tuck. Now, if you've got a lot of dough, just pull some of it off, and you can use it somewhere else where it's not enough dough. Okay, so lift and tuck it under. If it's too thick, get rid of some of it. Okay, so I'm going to show you. We're going to go all the way around this pie. And I'm going to have this nice little rolled edge all the way around. Add some of this over here. It's really thin. Okay, almost done. Okay, so there. You can see I just have a nice little clean edge all the way around. Now what you want to do is you want to use your thumb and a finger and another thumb or another finger, and you're kind of going to pinch these two together, and you're going to get that little V, and then you're going to use this finger or your thumb to kind of push it in. So your thumb and your finger go on the outside. Let me see if I can get you guys a little closer. Hold on here. Get rid of some apple pie filling I'm making. All right, let's go down here. All right, there you go. So thumb and finger, thumb, and then you just kind of, you're pushing and then you're kind of squeezing at the same time. So push and squeeze. Then you're going to put your thumb where your finger is, and you're going to do it again. And you're going to keep moving around all the way until you have what's called a fluted edge. And everybody's is going to be a little different, okay? So again, I'm kind of pinching, pushing, and I'm also pushing down with my thumb just a little bit to make sure the dough is sticking to that edge of that pan. Now you don't want any dough hanging over the edge of the pan, okay? That's really important, because what's going to happen is that dough is going to cook. It's got a lot of fat, and that shortening in that doesn't have a lot of structure. So what's going to happen is if it's hanging over the edge, it's just going to fall off and start to burn. Now, a lot of people tend to do the mistake and they're tucking their dough under the pan. Don't do that. You can't get your pie out. Okay? So there. That is what you call your fluted. Now go around one time. Make sure that pie dough doesn't have any bubbles. Remember, all of this is going to get covered up by whatever you put inside of it, okay? You have that pumpkin pie recipe? Try that. All right, there's your single crust pie pastry.